As a writer today, there's literally 1,000 of AI tools that will help you better write. Like literally there's a ton of them. And they even become specialized on very specific writing use case. Marketing writing, fiction writing, or any kind of academic or structured writing. So how do you choose? Well, in this video, I've done the hard work for you. I've gathered my best personal picks for each kind of writing use case. So follow along because throughout the video, I'm gonna give you all the details and comparison that you need. Ready? Let's go. I couldn't start this video without talking first about the best interface of the best frontier LLM models. Because the native tools of these LLMs are actually really good. You can already do a lot of things with them. Whether that is ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Grok, there's always some very specific features that you can try and experiment, and you can see how it works for your writing. Here I'm gonna show you my personal favorites and the one where I get the most value for my writing for each kind of use case. The first one is definitely ChatGPT. Yeah, I know it's not very original, but there's already a lot of things to do with this tool. I really use ChatGPT a lot for my writing, for actually a lot of my marketing and factual writing, because that's what I mostly do, marketing and SEO writing. And I think ChatGPT's biggest value lies just here, in factual and academic and structured writing. I'm especially in love with the search feature on ChatGPT, which I think is really the best search feature you can have. The deep research is also really good. And yeah, it's really good at extracting a lot of resources from the internet and very fast. The ChatGPT 5 model is also really good at using these insights that you found online to craft some really good factual prose. As you can see here, I asked it to retrieve all the leaderboard information about all the ChatGPT models, and it did the task quite well. It searched through a lot of resources, and I got really interesting output with a lot of details. It didn't get everything that I wanted, but it's already really good. And that's why you should use ChatGPT for factual writing to really enrich your text, your thinking with a lot of details on the internet or on very specific research. When it comes to just pure writing style, I think the ChatGPT models are not the best for sure. When you want to do fiction or any kind of creative writing, I think there's some limits here, and I think it's not very subtle. The writing style is usually a bit too much. It can follow your instruction and your prompts very closely, so sometimes you can do very good constrained writing, but I think there's better alternative here like Claude or Gemini that can do better fiction writing, for example, or any kind of writing where a strong personality should shine through the output. But that doesn't mean the ChatGPT models are bad for writing. I think they're really good for especially specific use case. For example, SEO writing, it's really good. I think the training of ChatGPT was really focused on very specific use case, and it gets it really well. For example, it really knows what a good SEO article looks like. Same for a writing essay or any kind of academic writing. It's also one of the most complete AI interface you can have. There's like the picture generation model. You can also generate videos. So if you just buy the ChatGPT plan, you can have a lot of things. And also you can upload a lot of different kind of documents. But ChatGPT is obviously not the only LLM model I use. Another one is Gemini, which is really good at many writing use cases. Actually, the latest Gemini models have become really good at many things, and writing included. Personally, I leverage two big features from Gemini. The first one is the very long context window of Gemini. You can really put a lot of things into Gemini documents or any kind of content, and Gemini will be able to retrieve it quite efficiently compared to other models. So yeah, you can give it a lot of context and it can really work on long form content. And that's why I use it, for example, to translate my blog posts that are sometimes really long in just one go. You can also feed it long documents and it will be able to retrieve a lot of details from all of your documents. The other main reason I use Gemini is also for the search feature, which is a good alternative to ChatGPT. And so you can do a lot of factual and academic writing and will be able to retrieve a lot of information online, a lot of resources, references, and yeah, that's really good. The deep research feature is also really good, same level than ChatGPT, and the writing of Gemini in general is fine for a lot of use cases. It's very versatile. It knows what a good blog article looks like, what a good essay looks like, what kind of any kind of structure or academic writing looks like. So you can actually use it for a lot of things. For fiction, it's also not that bad from what I've seen, but I don't think it's the best one. And that's where it leads me to another LLM interface I like, which is of course Claude, which is very well known as a good writer. So on Claude, you actually have less features than, for example, on ChatGPT and Gemini. You have, of course, the search feature. You also can easily customize the style. You can also do that now on ChatGPT, for example, but it doesn't get past that. Another limitation is the output and input window of Claude, which always feels very short. You can write something and it will tell you it's the end of the context window. So that's a bit annoying, and it doesn't retrieve a lot of details from very long document from what I'm seeing. Where Claude really shines though for writers is definitely for the style of Claude, which is really good for fiction writing and any kind of creative and personal writing. It really has some kind of vibe and emotional intelligence that you won't find with Gemini or ChatGPT. There's like a feeling that it's really good. It usually depends on some models because some models are actually worse than others. The latest of models of Claude, which is Sonnet 4.5, is actually really good, and you can get a lot of things from it. Me personally, I use it for more opinionated and personal writing. For example, to write Medium articles, as you can see here, I write one of those with Claude, and I think it sounds really good. And you can, of course, edit it at the end, but I think there's already some kind of vibe of something that gets on how writers on Medium really write. And it's very engaging also. So yeah, I strongly encourage you to use Claude if you really want to write subtle style writing. When it comes to fiction writing, that's where you really need an AI that is really strong in the style and creative department. And that's where actually there's already a lot of AI fiction writing tools that are kind of impressive. Myself, I'm working on a fiction project right now, a very personal fiction project about psychological thriller around AI delusion during an Halloween party. And so I've been testing a lot of fiction writing tools that you can find, and I've been especially liking two of them, are especially really good. The first one, as you can see here, is Pseudo-Write, and it's really impressive. It's a tool that is really complete and that gets you through a writing project from zero, from scratch. It's especially made for non-experienced fiction writers because it has a lot of features and guidance throughout the process. So let's see how it looks from the inside. So you get into the interface, and as you can see, you have a lot of things going on. So yeah, actually, Pseudo-Write really helps you to start from scratch, to not just write from a blank page, but really to generate all the first elements of your story, which is, for example, the story bubble, where you can get a lot of details about your story. And then from the story bubble, you get then all of the synopsis that you want. You can rewrite all the characters, all of the background of your story, the world building, of course, also. And yeah, everything that makes your writing very special. And then after that, you can get a really very detailed outline. And from the outline, then you can really start to write. And what's really amazing is that the AI will be informed by all the context of your story and just write your story in very coherent and consistent manner. Then you can get easily some very good piece of writing all along just by asking it to generate it. So yeah, if your idea of story is still very young and not very refined, you can get very much details from Pseudo-Write just by just telling it some specific things about your story. And then you can enrich all of this with the AI and get more and more details. And so it's easier then to just review what the AI generates in terms of all the details of the story, and just review it and change it and modify it, optimize it. And then more and more just get a better and clearer idea of your story overall. And that's where Pseudo-Write really shine, is really to get you from just nothing of the idea of your story to something that gets really more and more reliable and solid. And that's how it helped me develop my own personal story, my own personal project. And more than that, also on Pseudo-Write, it's very easy to customize everything. So especially the AI models, you can get any kind of AI models. When you go here, you can get all the AI models that are already available on the market, and you pay all the time just for the same kind of credits that you have to pay. With Pseudo-Write, you can pay everything with just the Pseudo-Write credits. And even their own homegrown LLM models, which is called Muse, It's also really good for fiction from what I've seen. It really writes natural, very readable prose, fiction prose. So you can really try it. But of course, also there's all the other models, like the clone models, are really good for fiction that you can use. And yeah, it's very user-friendly. You also have a lot of plugins from the community to really, for specific use cases, for example, character swap, any kind of details or narrative techniques that you want to apply into your story. So that's also really good. So the community is really big around To The Right. It's definitely the biggest community in AI writing I can find. And yeah, it's very exciting, I have to say, as a tool. Another tool that I use maybe a bit less, but I also tried extensively, is Novel Crafter, which is definitely also a really good fiction writing. The main difference between To The Right and Novel Crafter is definitely that it won't generate the basic elements of your story. So you really have to detail all the elements, so all the new entries, so the characters, the locations, the subplots, the lore, also the outline. You have to write by yourself. And when you have all these elements, then you can definitely generate with AI all the different chapters, scenes, and acts from story outline. The good part from having to do a bit of everything on Novel Crafter is that you have a lot of customization and possibilities, and you can really refine everything from your own point of view. You have to connect your own API key, but then you can use any kind of model that you want on the platform. You can also easily customize all the prompts that are being used during the writing process. And To The Right doesn't really allow you that. You just rely on the system prompts from To The Right, the prompts that are hidden into the interface and makes it work. But at the end, you get way more freedom and creative possibilities, and that's really good. Non-fiction factual books are definitely a better use case for AI right now with all the tools available. But surprisingly, you have a lot of AI writing tools right now that gets you through all the writing process of a non-fiction book. To stay with Novel Crafter, definitely you can also use it for non-fiction. You can just outline the plan of your non-fiction and then just write it. And it's very user-friendly and it will get you running quite easily. But thankfully, that's not the only tool that you can use for factual non-fiction books. And for example, there's one that is called Squibbler. And yeah, you can really get you going quite easily also. The features are a bit more limited than on To The Right and Novel Crafter, but it's still very interesting. So you can just create from scratch. You can generate the outline with AI, or you can just generate the whole manuscript based on all your ideas from scratch also. I've tried this last process, and it seems quite good depending on how much rich details you're gonna give it to generate on. What surprises me is that the prose sounds much like a book and not just like giving a prompt to an AI and just getting a random text. It definitely sounds like a book in the terms of the phrases, the sentences. You get some very consistent paragraphs. And also, yeah, of course, it's structured chapter by chapter. There's even like the specific dedication sections, typical of books, brief introduction, the back of the book also, and everything that just makes it like a book. The ideas and facts themselves into the book are also quite interesting. It gives a lot of examples. It's quite concrete, but it's also very repetitive. So you have to give a lot of ideas so it don't repeat itself. And that's when it's better to just generate an outline than just generate from scratch. Doesn't make sense. I've used it to write my own project around LLM writing and the differences between LLM writing and human writing. And yeah, when I generated it without giving my own personal insights and research and facts, it seems very generic in terms of idea and makes sense. It's just a random output of everything that already exists on the internet. So yeah, it's not very new or inspiring, but it still gets you going. You can, of course, review definitely the text with all the editing features. If you want to stay consistent and really give your own voice into your book, definitely the outline feature is better. So you can first outline each section of your book, and then it's gonna tell it, okay, that's about it. And then you can use the AI writing feature to just write each section. As you can see, that's what I asked him to do. So that's all the sections of my book. And I can just generate one by one. And then when you have written a couple of sentences, you can just ask it to write, and then it's gonna give you full possibilities of sections. Then you can just add and then refine. And then you can just do all of this step by step, very thoroughly. And then at the end, you can get a book that just sounds like you, while keeping also all your own ideas. All of these features, Write and Overcrafter, they have it. But on Scribbler, you can also do a lot of different format of writing. You can do, like I said, nonfiction, fiction writing, but also you can do a script or any kind of format. And there's all the templates that you need also. As you can see here, there's all the templates so that you don't have to start from scratch. You already have the format to write on. So it's definitely a versatile tool, but for nonfiction, it's especially interesting. One other tool that is really nice is Designer, and it helps you especially design books if you want to do some kind of visual books or any kind of ebooks also. So for the AI part, you just have to go to the word Jenny, which is their own AI. And then you just have to indicate the topic that you want to address. And then it's just going to generate it. And then when you have generated it, you have all the outline, but also all the text in all the outlines if you ask for that. And then also you have also all the design features that you can use to add pictures and stuff. So the templates I use here is not the best, definitely, but it helps you finish your work. Here's you have a lot of design features and also text feature to write your content or your book. So yeah, it works. So if you want to use it, just try it. Academic and scientific writing is a very structured exercise. Whether it is a student writing an essay or researcher writing a report or a research paper, it's always somehow the same format and structure. So no wonder that AI excel in this specific use case. We have a lot already of AI writing tools aiming at academic and research writing. One most simple, easy, and straightforward tool is AI Thor. With AI Thor, you just have to indicate any kind of subject that you want to address, whether it's an essay or a literature review, and then you get a first quality draft of what you're expecting. As you can see here, I've asked it to write an article, a report about the accuracy of AI detectors, and to rely on all the existing literature and research papers about this subject around AI detection. And it does the job. You have already a big outline, all the references, and already some sections that have been generated. And then I can type by myself the rest of it, or I can just get AI Thor suggestions. You also have a lot of rewrite features based on the tone that you're expecting. You can expand, shorten the sentences. You can even personalize it with your own test sample. So that's good. But overall, that's the only feature that you get from AI Thor, and it's very effective. You just get what you want. There's also an AI detector and an AI memorizer for students, but also teachers that want to proofread the writing. But then the other tools kind of work in the same way. So another tool I can have is Jenny AI, which is also really good. So here, when you start a new document, you just have to describe what kind of paper or essay you want and what kind of headings. And what's different with AI Thor is that it doesn't generate the text. You have to start writing to get some suggestions. And his autocomplete is really useful because you have control over the output. It just doesn't generate a big text that you have to read it in details. You can just start writing and it will complete the sentence. And so you can easily more guide the AI. It also relies on all the references we found. It seems also the research features is really good to find some relevant references and literature. It works mostly for researchers, for research papers, but it can also work for essay writing for students. It's very user-friendly in all of these use cases. As you can see, you have all the format and citation features to really make your content apply to all the criteria and standards of research writing. I'd like to try it for a next paper because yes, it's a very promising tool. If you want to get even further in scientific and research paper writing, I think also Elicit is a good tool to try. More than writing a report, it's also good to just do a review of the literature or even to summarize everything that has been said already on your topic, so you can already kind of know if your topic is relevant for your research. The researches of all the papers and references looks really good. There's a lot of references that are resurfaced from the tool. As you can see here, ask it to find all the literature around AI text detection, and he found all of them, and also give it to me in a very structured format for a research paper review of literature, the abstract, the method, all the details. And yeah, it's really good. The papers found are not always relevant to your topic, so you have to filter. But that's the case of most of the tools you can use. It's also the case of deep research on ChatGPT and Gemini. You have to know how to filter these sources. But yeah, it's really good to get started in your research. Marketing writing is the biggest use case when it comes to AI writing. Where that is ad copy, website copy, emails, SEO, article, blogs, and all kinds of format and pieces of writing that you can get from marketing. There's a lot of things to cover. And so it makes complete sense that there's a lot of AI writing tools on the market aimed at marketers, but also any kind of content creator. The first type of marketing writing that I use are what I call template-based writing tools. These are tools like Reader, but also Jasper, Copy AI. They're really famous tools where you just get a template that you have to fill up, and then you get a very specific output based on your writing use case. Reader is, I think, definitely the simplest, the most user-friendly tool that you could find in the AI writing tool space for marketing. And for example, you can just choose the template that you want. There's a lot of templates. So whether it's a blog, whether it's a CTA, a letter, an email, a social media post, a landing page, all that stuff. And you just have to choose. So here, for example, I'm going to choose a LinkedIn post, and then just put all the details for your post, also your target audience, and then just ask it to write it. So as you can see here, it wrote free version of that. So the interface is very basic, but you get what you want. The writing is not the best also from what I've seen. It's not the best templates or hidden prompts that is into a Reader for sure. I think you get way better output from Jasper or Copy AI, but it works and you can easily edit it with the editor. And like most of these tools, you can also customize your voice by just giving it a sample. So it's really, of course, really good for brand and style guideline in marketing. But then after that, all the other features are usually just artificial. The main feature is definitely just writing something based on a prompt template that you cannot see or customize, but it's based just on the best practices in this type of content. Where it gets more interesting is using a tool like AnyWord. And I really like this tool because it's just different from the other marketing writing tools I can find online. AnyWord has something very specific, is that it can score the quality of your content and the engagement that you could get from this content just by itself. So as you can see here, it's also based on template. So you have a lot of different templates, usually around writing. Here I use the LinkedIn post template. I give it all the details of my post, and then it just analyzes the talking points. I can change also the main talking points and idea insights that I want to highlight, and also the target audience. You can also give brand and style guideline, of course, but where you get the most value is, of course, that it can just judge your piece of writing, and you just have to ask it to improve it to get even more score of engagement. So as you can see, it reformulates my LinkedIn post, like more engaging vocabulary that hookups the reader. But definitely it won't be the AI that will make your copy perfect. So of course you can just edit the copy so you get better engagement. It's definitely simple, but it's not something you can see in other tools. And that just makes a big difference because you have a feedback of what works, what doesn't work, and if it's gonna work for you. And that's really, really useful. And so you can improve your copy just by having regular feedback on your writing. And of course, that's especially important if you're writing an ad copy or any kind of piece of writing where you really want to maximize the engagement and the conversion rate of your copy. So here I've talked mostly about versatile marketing writing tools, but also more specialized writing tools for a specific use case. And the biggest one, definitely from all the use cases I can find, is SEO blog article. It's the use case I'm the most specialized and expert on because I've generated a ton, really a ton of SEO article with AI. I know what a good SEO article looks like. And I remastered the process of creating a piece of content that will rank on Google based on the user intent and user research. And of course, it doesn't give you also Google penalties because it's just random spam. So usually myself, I use ChatGPT, but I also tried the dedicated all-in-one tool for SEO. And one of them is Kelnon, but there's also other good ones like SEO AI or Brandwell. That is really specialized for SEO. They all basically work the same way. That you just have to indicate a keyword and subject where you want to rank on. And then you're gonna extract all the existing information and ideas that are already ranked on Google. And then you get best mix of everything that is really structured so that you have the most chance to be ranked on Google on this specific keyword and intent. So for example, here it's about keto diet. And so it's going to tell what it is, how it works, how to apply it to your own health, and all the risks and questions that a reader would expect from this kind of article. So of course you get all the KPIs that tells you if your piece of text is optimized for SEO, like whether that is the titles, all kind of vocabulary density also. You can of course adjust first the brief or the outline before, so you get even more details, and you can easily control the output. As you can see here also, there's all the variation of keywords that could be typed. So it's really interesting. It gets really deep. It also tells you what you can add and what you cannot add. There's a lot of different features just to enrich your piece of text so that you get even more chance to be ranked. And that's it. You got a big overview of the best AI writing tools you can use for all your specific use case. I've shown you the tools that I use myself, and I found the best just to write a quality piece of writing, whether it's fiction, non-fiction, marketing writing. So just go test these tools based on my own suggestions, and you'll see if it works for you or not. And otherwise, if you found this video helpful, of course, don't forget to like, to subscribe to the channel. And if you have any question about these tools, of course, don't hesitate to leave a comment under the video. And otherwise, I'll see you on the next one.